Hello, guys, and welcome back to As It Is. And today we've got a musical theatre themed podcast.
Gosh, we haven't spoken theatre in so long. If you don't know, me and Mac, that is our background. We're trained in drama, acting, musical theatre, singing, whatever you want to call it, the performing arts industry. And today we have an absolutely fantastic guest. It is Thomas Andrew Smith from TAS Management, and he is currently backstage. Let's bring him forward onto the stage. There he is, lovely
stuff.
Showtime!
Right? What an intro. God, can you come around everywhere with me and just intro me like into Tesco and all of that? That'd be grand.
Could be arranged. I do voiceovers.
Just two northern lads like introing you everywhere.
Yeah.
How do Cocker?
I don't know what you just said.
Anyway, Tom, how are you, buddy? Give people a little insight into you. Let people know who you are and things.
Yeah, well, I'm good. I'm really good. Really looking forward to this easing of lockdown. So I'm like really good this week because it's something like 2 weeks till we can eat inside a restaurant.
Finally, Nando's is open.
I'm not good with that outside eating thing. I just don't. It's all right when it's really hot, but I think people are forgetting we're just in May. It's not summer yet, so it's not hot enough really to do that. But no, I'm good. Yeah. So it's me. I'm here. No, we've been speaking about this for a little while. So my name's Thomas, and I'm the agency director. Sounds very official of Thomas Andrew Smith Management, and actually, if anyone doesn't know, Daniel is in fact one of my clients.
Oh, me?
You?
Oh, jeez.
That's me.
Him? That's you? Yeah.
So that's why he's already on best behaviour.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
That's why I'm on just the strawberry lager tonight.
Yeah.
Not the normal lager.
A fruity-based drink for the girls. Love it.
What are you drinking, Tom?
I am drinking a really lovely Sauvignon Blanc by this company called The Weather Dial, and it's actually one of my favourite Sauvignon Blancs.
Where's that from? Aldi?
No, I don't know where that's from, actually. My boyfriend gets it for me.
You're a Waitrose type of girl.
Not Marks and Spencer's. Controversial here. I think that Waitrose is really, really overpriced for what it is. I know M&S is as well, but I feel like with M&S, like you get what you pay for. It's good quality stuff. But I've had Waitrose stuff before, and I'm just like, it's just not. I don't know. I'm more of a Marks and Spencer's person.
Before we started this stream, you were talking to us about your shirt, and we've had a comment on the YouTube from Ashley Conrad, loving Thomas's shirt.
Yeah, I knew you would. I knew you'd like this shirt. Thank you. A little bit of see-through that covers everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, is it see-through? Nipple tapes on.
Tit tapes on. Yeah. It's a little sheer moment. But it used to be a lot baggier before lockdown. I put it on and was like, oh wow,
that's a good sign.
That's
right?
Tight. No, it's not tight in the right place. Not here. It's like here. But God, I've already gone off on a tangent, haven't I? I'm terrible for that. But yeah, so I'm here. I'm Dan's agent. But I'm also a performer. I've also dabbled in a little bit of casting as well, and I choreograph. So I'm a bit of a strange one in that respect because I've got my finger in lots of different pies in this industry.
Mac likes his fingers in holes as well.
That best behaviour slipped then, didn't it? That's it.
So how did TAS start?
Well, it's funny because TAS. It's really funny because different people call it different things. Some people say TAS Management. Some people say TAS Management. Some people say.
You get annoyed when people say TAS?
No, not really. Because do you know what it is? Like the agency itself. I mean, I've been around a while agenting, but the agency itself was started up in the January before lockdown. So literally like the first week of January. And so it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and I haven't quite, to be honest with you, I haven't quite worked out what I like yet. Because obviously, you know, my clients are all self-taping. They say at the beginning, like, hello, my name's Daniel. all of that I'm represented by, and they do all of that. But there's so many different variations, and I haven't quite worked out which one I love yet. But really, it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's all in the logo. It's all TAS.
I just say Thomas Andrew Smith Management. This makes it easy.
It does. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it does. But
It sounds a little bit more professional though as well.
Yeah, that's I love using I love my full name, which is why I used it for the agency. But I mean, how I came about essentially was, graduated from, I went to Italia Conti in Guildford, whoop, whoop, and graduated. Well, it's so funny, isn't it? Because what constitutes as a successful performing arts career? I don't know, you tell me, because it means so many different things to different people. I've got a pen in my hand.
That is a good question. What would you say, Dan?
Yeah.
Say that again, sorry. I was typing.
What would you constitute as, like, I guess, a successful career?
Yeah, performing arts career, yeah.
It's all retrospect, isn't it? It depends. Other people have got different levels of dreams. So if you just want to be a cruise singer, that's fair enough. If you want to be West End and you reach there, that's fair enough. If you want to be on TV, if you just want to gig at your local pub, it just depends on what kind of person you are, really, and different levels of success. So I can't really say much more than that without droning on.
Yeah, totally. It totally depends on the person. I always in college was that person when I trained. That you'd sit round, and anyone that's watching this and you guys will get this. You sit round in a circle in your wanky acting class or whatever it is, and they go, what do you want? Yeah,
swearing.
Yeah. What do you want to do? What do you want to do when you're older and things?
Oh, yeah, it's normally the first day, the first class. Yeah, and it's like,
and you get the person that's like, I want to be in Les Mis, or I want to be Elphaba, or I want to star in my own Channel 4 drama, or whatever it is. And my answer was always, I want to work. So for me, I can quite happily sit there and say I've had a successful performing arts career and still am having a successful performing arts career, because I have never had what I would call a normal job. I've never had a normal job. The most normal job I've had is teaching, and that doesn't really count, I don't think.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer like the agent side of it, or do you prefer the performing side of it, or is it a mixture of both?
It's a mixture of both. I love to perform. I absolutely, I think anyone in this industry, most people in this industry, whether it be casting directors or agents, have performed at some point in life. That's my passion. It will always be my passion. I adore to perform. But the stuff behind the scenes gets me just as excited. I think the time where I'm the most passionate is probably when I'm sort of behind a production, or I'm choreographing something, and I'm creating. That's what I like to do. I like to create, and I love to sort of sit back and go, oh yeah, that looks really good with the lights and the da-da-da, and we've done all the right stuff with casting, and we've got the right people. And then I love the agenting stuff as well. I love ringing people and being like, you've got an audition, or you've got the job, or right, this has come in and it's a really, really quick turnaround. How are we going to make this work? I love that as well. I love the high paced, the energy, and the go, 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 go. So I love it all equally, but I always knew I wanted to do lots of different things.
Yeah,
I knew I was never just going to perform. Never.
I could definitely see that, because I think I've done like long-term contracts, and I think the issue is that you do start to get bored a little bit. But whereas if you are choreographing or directing, it's new, exciting all the time.
Yeah.
And I've definitely found myself being more interested in that side recently.
It is. I think as performers, we are creatures. Oh, it's not creatures of habit. We don't like habit. We don't like routine. I like to do lots of different things at once, and I love the fact that my weeks are
creatures of the spontaneous.
That's the one. Creatures of the spontaneous. Yeah. Copyright here. You heard it here first, folks. Like it totally is that. And I think because of that, when we do you always hear people at the end of contracts, maybe their dream contract. I knew a girl, a really good friend of mine, and all she ever wanted to do was work in Disney. She got her dream. She worked in Disney. She worked her way up. She was parade dancer, character, da-da-da. And honestly, I thought she would do it forever, because that was all she wanted to do. And she did it, I think, for about 3 years, which is a really long time. And then went, no, done. And I was like, wow, because after a while, you know, regardless of if it's your dream job or not, you do go.
Yeah, I've
That's
heard
it.
some
And
horror stories about Disney though.
at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
can be like, it can be a dream job, but it's still a job. So after
It's a
a
job.
while, it's still going to be like, oh, like, yeah.
Can you walk out on that same stage every night for however long and stand in the same spot and sing the same tune and dance the same moves? Yes, you can to a certain extent, but for how long, realistically? You know, you hear of people that have been in shows for 5+ years, and I'm like, you know what, props to them, great for them, because they're probably, every time their contract is renewed, they're probably paid more money. So, like, you know, they're probably sat there in their penthouse suite above Covent Garden laughing at us. But I personally couldn't do it. I like variety. I like doing lots of different things. Yeah.
Well, anyway, throughout this week, we've been putting all the socials, talking to all those theatre performer friends, and gathering like a list of questions. And I'm not gonna lie, they've come in absolute heaps and bounds. Like my Snapchat were popping off, Instagram coming through. There's a lot, and we might not get through them all. Hopefully, we will. If you are watching live as well, write some questions on the live stream, but we've got quite a lot here. So should we just go from the top, go down, dig in?
Let's dive in. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So we'll go with the first one. This is from my good friend Matt, who's in America. He lives in New York. He was due to start a Broadway contract just before lockdown kicked in.
Shucks.
It was a load of shite. He's absolutely good. But yeah, this is his question.
Yeah.
How are you helping your clients physically and mentally prepare for the reopening of theatres?
Oh wow. I mean, loads. And you know what? The thing is with this and with all of these is a lot of these questions are probably just going to be like my opinion, and another agent will probably say something different. But for me personally, and that's where I'm going to come from, all these questions. When this pandemic started, my first thought was how am I going to make these guys okay? What can I do? That was the first thing that I personally went to. I knew that the jobs weren't going to be coming in. I knew the auditions weren't going to be coming in, and I'm a performer also, so I know what that's like. You know, we pre-pandemic, we all have dry spurs where we go, God, I've not auditioned in 6 months, or oh, nothing's come up, or oh God, you know, I've not been seen. So we all know what it's like. So for me, it became about checking in with them, and something I always talk about is that personal form of management, and I guess that comes from having a small book. It's not a huge book with hundreds and hundreds of people. And it just became about checking into every single person, but sometimes as a group, but sometimes individually, because different people need different things. Some people were like, you know what, I'm cool, I'm good, just leave me be, I'm good, you know, I'll check in with you. Yeah. And then some people are like, oh God, I'm really panicking. And they need me to be like, okay, let's sit down, let's go through it, you know? So we had Zooms, we've had agency Zooms, a good couple of them, and we've all jumped on, we've all had a drink, we've all had a laugh.
I had a bad hangover after the first one.
The first one was like right at the beginning of lockdown, and it was like, I think it was new and exciting, and it was like, oh, let's all jump on Zoom.
Yeah, the start of the lockdown was just exciting. No one cared. It was just a month off work, essentially.
Yeah,
Little did we know.
Everybody wanted that furlough pay. Like everybody were after it.
Totally. So it was like that first one was really, really cool, and you know, we all got really drunk, I think, on Zoom, and it was really, really cool. And we spoke about the industry, and I let my clients know what I was seeing, because often it's sort of agent client. I don't run that ship. It's all very much, I'm very transparent, and so I was letting them know exactly what I was seeing. And we had, you know, during the course of this pandemic, we've had Q&As with casting directors. We've had
casting, that were a really good one.
Yeah, Pearson came in. James from Pearson came on and gave a really great Q&A session and sort of spoke through the industry and kind of, you know, from a casting director's point of view, what he was seeing. We've had like practice tapes where we've done practice tapes and sent them off to some producer and director friends of mine, and they sort of gave feedback. And another one we did like a well-being session where a guy came on and did like a mindfulness session one night, talking about what to do when we're feeling really anxious in that moment about lockdown and things that we can do to sort of calm ourselves down. And we did like a meditation moment, and that was really, really cool.
We also tried to do a fitness class, but nobody wanted to do that. So
everyone was sick of it, weren't they? Yeah. But that's the thing is towards the beginning of lockdown, everyone was home, and because we didn't know it was going to go on for as long as it was, sort of no one really made any plans. And then as time went on, we were like, oh God, we're in this for the long haul. And people started to get quote unquote normal jobs. Some of my clients were like doing delivery driving for Asda or going into schools to work and stuff. So people's availability became really kind of, I'm working and I'm doing this. So it was really, really hard to pin people down.
It's funny you speak about normal jobs, because the next question actually kind of fits into that. Have you got it on your screen?
Right.
Yep. Here we go. Chris, have you or any of your agent friends noticed a sudden loss in clients due to the realizing new career opportunities and sustainability?
Yeah, totally. I myself have not come across it too much on my books. There's a couple of people on my books, but I have heard a lot of it. Mainly teachers. A lot of performers suddenly went, I'm going to train to be a teacher.
Yeah. Because in a way, we're still going down that career path, and they do want to be creative.
Yeah, totally. And it's, it's fresh, it's new. It's, like I said earlier, that habits of non-routine and habits of spontaneity. No, what was it you called it, Dan? I can't remember now. Habits of
habits of spontaneity or something.
Something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. Creatures of spontaneity. We're creatures of spontaneity. And because of that, a school setting kind of gives that. So yeah, that happens so much. It's a really good question. And I think it was really dependent on people's circumstances. Some people, when I have got rent to pay, or I've got a mortgage to pay, or I've got kids, or I've got all these things that cost money, I have to go out and work. I cannot afford to sit back and go, well, I'll just wait for the industry to, because again, at the beginning, we all thought it would be a month. We were told 3 weeks, and then a month, and then 2 months, 3 months. We're a year plus on. And if you just sat back this whole time and gone, well, that'd be fine, great. If you're in a position to do that, marvelous. Props to you. But, a lot of people have been forced to do that. And it's a really hard decision to make, because you go, is that person going to be happy? They might be. On one hand, they might be really happy, and they might go, do you know what? This is the best thing I ever did. And you know what? Great to them people. But what I would never want someone to do is do it, and in 2 years' time, on the other hand, go, oh, I've got so many regrets. I wish I had just got a job at Tesco, or, or whatever it was. I always go to Tesco. I don't know why. It's just always that, whatever, got a job just at a local shop or anything, and just got by for that time being, and just did what I needed to do to survive, and then I can go back into the industry again. But it's hard. But yeah, totally. There is a loss of. There's a loss of performers. There's a loss of casting. There's a loss of production companies. There's a loss of agents. I had someone write to me this week, again, even now, this late on in the pandemic, and said, I'm looking for a new agent because my agency's gone under. And that's really sad to hear. I mean, me, myself, I've been an agent now for a good couple of years, and I've got this lovely agency with a beautiful full book of people, and I'm seeing agencies that have been going for years and years and years go under, and I'm like, wow, that almost to me is completely and utterly, I can't even work that out, because I'm like, you've been going for years, you've had all this success, but you've gone under. But with all that success are more outgoings, more people to pay. There's all these different things. So yeah, from everywhere we've seen loss everywhere.
That's what we were speaking to about Chris, who asked that question. Like when he asked me, because I've kind of like started that career as well as like a personal trainer as well, which is flexible for myself. Obviously when castings and things start coming up again, but I've been quite fortunate. I've had quite a lot of castings in terms of commercials, self tapes. Not that I've got any, because nobody wants his face.
I've done my job. I've got you the tape.
Yeah, you got me there. I just failed you.
Never.
But like we said, what comes first, life or a dream? And sometimes you've got to put life in front of the dream, unfortunately.
Absolutely. I remember, probably it wasn't the first email I sent out to my clients, but it was probably the second email where I was just like, right, guys, now we know this is going to go on for a hell of a lot longer. This is about survival mode, and I put it in the hands of my clients, and I said, you do what you've got to do to survive.
That's exactly what you said. I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I want you there in a year's time. I want you there when life gets back to normal. I want you there, and I want to represent you, and I want to be having drinks with you in Soho going, God, do you remember that pandemic? So you do right now what you need to do to survive. And again, it's that personal thing. That is a different thing for everyone. Some people needed to hibernate. Some people needed to go and get a normal job. Some people just needed to stay at home and spend no money. Some people needed to do lots of online classes. It was very individual, very individual.
In a way, as a performer, it can be quite beneficial because we've essentially had a year to improve on something or learn new skills.
Right? Yeah, totally.
In a way, I think of it not as a blessing because obviously it's a horrible thing that's happened. But
there are some positives. There are some positives.
There's too many people who look at life in a negative view, and you've got to look at the positives, what people have came from it. People have understood like the importance of family. You've not been able to see family at the start for 6 months plus. You've learnt new skills. For example, like my guitar playing's come on. Max become an expert editor in podcasting.
And voiceovers, thank you.
And Tom's got a baggy shirt. So what's
Yes, yeah, totally. You know what? There are positives out of this. Don't get me wrong. There's loads of negatives, but there are positives, and that's kind of what I said to my clients. To sort of like loop round back to the question. That's what I said to my clients: is use this if you can, and you don't have to go and work a full-time job, or you've got time on your hands. Use it. Hone your skill. Use it. You know, for example, if you are an actor singer and you're not a very good dancer, fine. Use this time to do online dance classes where you dance in your front room, no one sees you, and you've got no inhibitions, and no one, do you know what I mean? No one's watching you, so you can make a complete prat of yourself. Cool. No one's watching you, but you're learning. You're getting better.
That's the thing with self-tapes. You've got a million tries to get it right.
Right? Totally. Mm.
Is this a live question, Mark?
This is the live question from YouTube. Do you want to go read it ahead?
What advice would you give to a youngster who loves her musical theatre and drama groups in order to get recognised and want to further herself in the field?
Do you know what? Training. I really believe in training, whether it be drama school or university or a weekend club or, you know, even just training to yourself.
Well, I know this child, she's because that's my dad's partner, and Katie, and it's her daughter, and she's just going to high school now, but she's a very talented young girl. Goes to all PPA groups and things, as dance classes and things. So, but she's very passionate. She went for Matilda auditions.
Nice.
For the film, but so it's 12 age.
Okay, so that's good. That gives a bit of context. Cool. I mean, I think at that point, knowledge is key. For myself, when I was that age, I knew I loved musical theatre. I absolutely loved it. So I took in as much musical theatre as I could. And I think nowadays, even you know, I'm not that old.
Well.
No comment. But even to sort of when I was 11, 12 to now, it was so much harder then to find things. You know, I was reliant on cast CDs being released and listening to them, you know, on my Walkman or whatever. But now with an 11, 12-year-old, like YouTube, every show, illegally I might add, I'm not condoning it, but it's there, so you might as well use it. Every show is on YouTube, so learn different styles, look at different styles. If you go, I was always a very classical, I loved Miss Saigon, Martin Guerre, I loved all of that sort of stuff. So then I made it my business. So like when Ghost came out, I was like, right, I'm going to look at that show online. So I think just knowledge is key. Knowledge is key. Look at every single different type of musical, and just do your research and go to every dance class you can. Go to every, if there's an audition, go to it. Just for the sheer experience, because what you don't want to do is get to 16, 18, whenever it go, you go to train, you go, I've never auditioned before in my life. I don't even know what an audition room looks like, Yeah, go on.
I think nowadays as well, like the opportunities, especially around our area, that isn't notorious for musical theatre, and it's got the Billy Elliot stigma, like massive bullying. But now it's the world is slowly realizing, and everyone's being more accepting, and there's so many more clubs, so many more activities that people can do.
Yeah, totally. And like for me, I went to Stagecoach when I was little. Well, I say little. I joined when I was about 14, so I was really quite late.
Still little.
Still little, yeah. But like, I was quite late to the game in musical theatre, but I just loved it. It was my 3 hours a week where I did singing, acting, dancing. But yeah, the thing is with all these things, it comes down to money, and unfortunately, in this industry, it's so elitist. This industry is so elitist. Unfortunately, if you've got money, I'm not saying it's easier to book the job eventually, but it does filter down and stem down.
Yeah.
Did you have the money to go to the clubs? Did you have the money for the private lessons? Did you have the money to go and see the shows? Did you have the money to then go to school and not?
I remember we went to, I think Mac were there actually. Can't remember. We went to London in school. I think I were in either year 10 or year 11, and we went.
I don't think I could afford it, to be honest. No, I missed that one.
Went to a Les Mis workshop at.
Oh, amazing!
It wasn't Pineapple. I think it was Dance Works with the guy who were currently Honduras.
Oh, that was sixth form.
Not Honduras, Marius. No, it were
Rob Houchin.
Rob Houchin. We're at sixth form.
Yeah, sixth form. Yeah.
With Rob Houchin, and I asked a question, and basically it was about funding for like drama school and things, and how he like managed it, and he didn't come back with an answer. It was basically like, like that. And my tutor at the end basically came to me, and she was like, "Yeah, that guy doesn't need to worry about money. He's in a completely different situation to you, Dan."
And it's a shame it does happen. It does happen, I mean, I'm sat here probably more from Rob's point of view in that respect. I had a very lovely upbringing, and when I went to drama school, there was no sort of question on whether the fees could be paid and things. And then there are other people on my courses that were on scholarships and blah blah blah, and there were people I know on my course who paid full fees, graduated, and have never done a single thing.
Yeah.
Like a single thing. Like sort of graduated and were like, yeah, we were good 3 years, cool. And it's like, oh, what are you doing now? I'm training to be I don't know, like an engineer or something. And I'm like, oh, that's great. But like, why did you waste 3 years? Why did you take someone else's place?
Yeah, there's a fine line between passion and just something you enjoy.
Absolutely.
And for a lot of people that go down this route, or they like dancing or they like singing.
Totally. And again, go on.
It can be one of those things though. Once you've done it, it's like a realization where you're like, oh, maybe it's not for me. So
totally. And that's what I was going to say, to go back to the question about the 11, 12-year-old. Great, loves musical theatre. I did then, and it may be that in a couple of years' time they go, you know what? I can love musical theatre, but I have to go into it. I don't have to go into this industry to still love it. And I think when you go and train, you realise that. When you go to train, that's when you realise, okay, do I just really love going and seeing musicals, or is this an industry I want to go into? Because it's a very fine line between them, and it sounds crazy, but it's like a fag paper between them. It really is.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You love it, but like, have you got it in you to do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you got it into you to do it? Only that person knows that, you know.
Or is this another live question? Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah. What tips would you give to people like me who are about to graduate sixth form to go into theatre school? What can we do to get us on the path to get noticed?
Preparation. Is the simple you know, it's again, do your research. Do not go to that audition not knowing your piece.
Oh
Not
God, yeah.
you know, we've all done it. I'm not sitting here, you know, the grace and glorious, you know, I'm not sitting here going, oh, well, you know, I've had a successful career because, you know, I always learnt my lines no, totally. I had auditions that I've completely fluffed because I didn't look at the material. So yeah, that would be my advice. Preparation. Learn your script, make sure your piece is really, really good and make sure it suits you. Make sure you're passionate about it. If you've got to choreograph a dance solo, if you can't choreograph, get someone to choreograph it that can. Sing the song that's right for you, not the song that you like singing. I love singing Defying Gravity. Am I ever going to be off of that?
In which key?
Yeah, the original. Duh. you know, so. Darling. But like, you know, there's songs that you love to sing in your shower. Like so for example, today I sung Don't Forget Me from Smash. If you don't know the song, look it up, it's amazing. I'm never going to sing that song ever. Like it's a girl's song, you know, which all right, that happens more and more nowadays, but it's just never going to happen. But would I take it for an audition? No, because it doesn't, it's not in a good key, and two, it's not right for me. So just prepare and just be prepared and surround yourself. So if you're taking in a piece from, I don't know, Miss Saigon, make sure you've seen Miss Saigon illegally on YouTube because it's on there. Actually, no, you've got an actual filmed version that's like legal, so you can go and watch that. But, you know, make sure you watch it. Make sure you know what that character's saying when they're doing that piece, because the likelihood is these drama schools are going to ask you, so why did you pick that piece? What's happened just before? They're going to ask you them questions, so don't set yourself up for failure by going into them rooms and being like, oh, well, I've not really done any research, just pick this piece because I liked it. Even if that is the case, find a reason that you did pick it. Lie. That's what this industry a lot of the time is about. Lie. You know?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. No, I've done that many times, and it's got me to the next step.
Yeah, totally.
I am a chief flagger in an audition.
There you go, and you've got to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Just on that, like, I'm wondering why more musicals and why more theatres don't release pro shots of musicals, especially in the past year. They missed out on a year of, well, revenue.
Yeah.
And people want to see musicals and they want to see a high quality one, but they don't want to film it.
Shrek have recently just done it on Netflix, and Hamilton obviously did it at the start, didn't they?
Yeah.
Not a fan of the Shrek one.
I love it.
Oh, right.
I think Sutton Foster and Brian James Darcy, and actually the guy that plays Donkey, and I forget his name. There is a lesson in Murphy. But there is a lesson in musical theatre in that show, and as an ensemble piece, because there's some smaller ensemble parts like Gingy and Pinocchio and stuff that are just really good parts. It's fab. It's really, really good. But yeah, it's funny. Do you know what? It just costs so much to do properly. Like even I perform and choreograph a panto every year, and we didn't obviously do it last year. We put together a Christmas show, and to film it is so expensive. It is so, and the thing is you then rely on people to pay to see it. You know, you rely on people going, I'm going to pay to see this. And whereas some people will, a lot of people won't. A lot of people will not pay, which is ridiculous, but they will not pay £7 to see that full length show in their front room. Oh, they'll happily spend 60 quid to go and see it in a West End theatre, but they won't pay £7 to see it in their front room. I don't know where that mindset comes from, but they just won't. So you end up spending all this money and you actually don't end up getting much back.
I think it is that kind of like value for money people kind of thing. Like you just said, you can go on YouTube and find anything for free, and people don't want to. People don't want to pay it, do they? Like oh, I can find this for free. It might not be as good, but
Yeah.
it's essentially the same thing, and that's what people are. That's
Totally.
what people are like. They're tight-fisted.
Well, yeah, but you've got the experience of sitting in the stalls, paying £140 for some tickets and getting spat on. Like, that is what you want. You want the experience.
Totally. I want to feel your beads of sweat dripping on me. Yes.
Especially if, what's he called? Guy who played the King in Hamilton.
Jonathan
Groff.
Oh my goodness.
My God. Bloody hell, like a waterfall out of that guy's mouth.
Yeah, a bath. Yeah.
All right, next question. This is from my friend Aaron. What's been the trickiest thing for an agent during the lockdown, and how has it affected you? We always hear about the client, but never the agent. Oh, very caring question.
Aaron, my favourite person. Don't know who Aaron is, but my favourite person. You know what? Absolutely. And, you know, it's not a woe is me story, and it's not about that. But I think so much focus went on the performer within our industry. People forgot about everyone else. Agents. It's not even just agents. Casting directors, producers, directors. You know, it affected, you know, as with every industry, you know, it affected so many different people. But often, you know, during this pandemic, it was the agents that, and you know, casting directors and things that kind of just got pushed to one side, and it was like, oh, well, they're all right. No, they're not actually. I would go as far as to say that agents struggled more than performers, because a lot of agents, that's their sole income. I'm lucky because I still perform and I have other things that I do, but it's their mainstream of income. And in order for them to be there after this pandemic for their clients, we couldn't go and get other jobs. We couldn't go and retrain. We couldn't go and get a job in Tesco, because if that casting came in that day during that shift in Tesco and it needed to be turned around within 6 hours, which quite often it does, or within a day, I can't afford to not be there, because contractually I've said that I'll be there, you know? So we couldn't go and do that. So it was very much, we had to just really, and still to a certain extent, just sit pretty and watch our livelihood just go.
Dwindle and just dissipate into the
air.
It
was just dissipate to nothing, and sort of hope that it will slowly get back, and it slowly is getting back. But that's a really good. That's a really.
I've noticed over the last couple of days. So I've noticed over the last couple of days that obviously Spotlights seems to be picking up a little bit again. From a performance perspective, you obviously I only get a small percentage of what castings come through. You obviously get a whole lot more. But what's the kind of situation on castings at the moment? This is a question from me.
It is. It's a great question. It's picking up. It is picking up. It is totally picking up. There's just so many things to think about at the moment. Location's a thing. They're not allowing people to travel for things. They want people for commercials in bubbles. So if they're looking for a family, whereas before, you know,
you make a family.
Yeah, you make a family. You go, we'll pull this person and this one, and they can't do that at the moment because of testing and stuff. It's like
there's been less things. They don't even want actors anymore. They just want. I saw an advertisement for. It was just a family. Maybe one of them would have been an actor, and it was just like, totally. I want your family.
Yo, it was so annoying because Tom sent me a casting of a week for a betting company. I won't say the name, just obviously copyright reasons, whatever. And in the brief, it literally said, "We don't want actors," and it was like. Why put it on Spotlight then? Why not just put it on your like chuffing social page? Like it's just it's like a big it's a big middle finger to actors, really. We've trained for these kind of opportunities, and they're just like, it sucks. It sucks.
It's been a lot of that sort of things where companies are like, okay, we want an NHS nurse who specializes in so and so. Well, why are you asking Spotlight? Why don't you contact the NHS? Because they'll be able to put you in contact with the right people. I don't have anyone on my books, and I've got several agent friends, and I would put money on the fact that they also don't have that. I may have people that are now trained vaccinators or whatever, but I've not got nurses. because that's a different field completely.
You
I've
got
got
people who
that
can
have got-
pretend to be, but
exactly 100%. They can read the lines and they can look the look and go into hair and makeup and look like a nurse. Great, but yeah, so it has been tricky. It's been tricky. It's look, it's been tricky for everyone. Performers, agents, casting directors, everyone has suffered. But it's nice sometimes to sort of get that recognition, because for a long time it was just sort of on the performers, and it was like, no, we are really struggling too. So that's nice. And I've got my client list. Let me tell you, moi,
excluding this one.
Yeah. Well,
Yo,
of course,
don't
yeah.
none of that. None of that.
They're beautiful, and you know what? They supported me as much as I've supported them. So it's like a family. You know, I don't even like to call it an agency, because it's not an agency. It's just a family. So yeah, that's a really good question.
What role in the family do I take then, Tom? The drunk uncle, or
The annoying younger brother.
well, should we move on to the next question, right?
Yeah, I've got one here from Aidan, and it's your opinions on celebrity castings to boost shows revenue.
Oh gosh.
Because I'm of the understanding where there's even a lot of celebrities that are out of work due to COVID, and they're taking they're taking the next tier down jobs, and then it's like a layering effect where there's a lot of small fish out of work, and there will be for a long time.
It's hard. It's so my opinion on celebrity casting is this. It's one simple question. Can they do the job? If a celebrity can quite happily and quite confidently step into a production and go, I can do that in that key, and I can do all them numbers, and I can do them 8 shows a week, and they're great, I have zero problem with it. Zero problem. For example, I saw a couple of years ago, I had a friend that was in the Bill Kenwright Cabaret tour, UK tour, I think it was. And Will Young was the MC. And I was kind of like, didn't really know much about Will Young. Yeah, well, that's what I was like. I don't know. And I was like, right, okay, well, do you know what? He was absolutely fantastic. He was amazing. His vocals were amazing. His acting was amazing. His movement and dance was amazing. And I couldn't fault him. And I ended up looking at him, not even as Will Young, forget that, just as a performer, and thinking, you know what? You have gone on this stage and you've done a really good job. So I've not got a problem with that. It's when you go and see people in things and you think, right, that's that person, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, they're not very good. Or they're just, and you sit there, and we will sit there and go, I know someone that could do that better. I know that person that could do it better. And I know that it comes down to ticket sales. I get it. It comes down to ticket sales and pulling in an audience. But actually, I would like to see the stats, please, Karen. I'd like to see the stats. I'd like to see, when something comes up with, I don't know, so-and-so in it, right? I'd like to see the stats of that 500-seat theatre, and that stars there. How many people in that audience have booked specifically to see that person and would not have booked if that person wasn't in it? And I think actually that statistic is very low.
I'll tell you something. It's weird, because in my first year of training it in London, I went to see Memphis, and it was the time when Matt Cardle was playing the lead.
I saw him.
I'll tell you something. He was fantastic.
He was.
I did not expect anything.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's come from the same background as Will Young, coming through like the talent shows, X Factor, Pop Idol, whatever.
Yeah.
And people saying, "Oh, Matt Cardle's on tonight." And you could hear people in the lobby saying, "Oh," because I think Killian Donnelly was the other lead at the time.
Oh my God, yeah.
So you had Matt Cardle and Killian Donnelly, and we pulled Matt Cardle, and you had so many people complaining.
Yeah, totally.
And I've seen both. I've seen Killian and Matt Cardle, because Memphis is one of my favourite shows.
Oh gosh, me too.
Matt Cardle did Killian for me. He was absolutely brilliant.
And that's it. If they're great, I've zero problem with it. But I would like to see the stats. Do they actually bring more tickets in? So that's my opinion on it. If they can really do the job, then great, fine, wonderful. unfortunately, I think a lot of what we saw over lockdown, and I know it was people went to town on it on Twitter, was a lot of the same faces, unfortunately, in the same jobs, in the same concerts, in the same online concerts, the same virtual concerts. We did see a lot of the same faces, and a lot of them same faces, they're not celebrities. They are within the musical theatre world, but they're not celebrities. So that was another thing, and it was just sort of like, well, there's loads of people out there that are really bloody good. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of people out there that aren't good, but there's lots of people that are really good, and you're sort of like, they need to be given the chance, equal opportunities. Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's my thing. I mean, bottom line for me, celebrity casters, if they can do the job, zero problem with it. But if they can't do the job, then I'm not a car mechanic, so I'm not going to fix a car.
More often than not, they have to change the key.
Yeah, they have to change. They have to take it down. It's like, well, why? Yeah, totally. That's my opinion on that.
All right, next question. Throughout the last year, all the castings have had to be remote. Could this be a way of allowing more access for people outside the major cities such as London and Manchester going forward?
Absolutely. This industry has changed forever. This pandemic, there are things in this pandemic that will stick around for forever. So down to things like, I know it's not industry related, I think we're going to have hand sanitizing stations everywhere now, from now on. I think we are.
So.
Yeah, I
think you're going to see face masks for at least next 2 years.
Absolutely.
Really
and you know what? And I'm here for it. And I'm like, you know what? Because, you know what? When you touch that trolley at the supermarket, you don't know whose hands have been on that. You guys know. I cannot tell you the amount of times I use a toilet and watch blokes wee and then not wash their hands.
Why are you watching blokes wee?
Well, it's a thing. We've all got our vice, and that's mine. Don't hold me to it. But
it is crazy. Exactly what you just said. Like, we never really thought about things such as hygiene in such detail as we have over the last year and a half.
Yeah.
And now
things will change forever. And like with regards to the industry, that's a really good question. Like, it will change. Think even like this. Say, for example, the three of us wanted to get together to record this. In the past, we would not have thought about doing this.
Not a chance.
You'd have come here, or I'd have gone to Dan's, or we'd all gone to Matt's, like whatever, and we'd have all sat and recorded it. But now, how amazing! We're able to do this remotely. I'm in London. Dan, Matt, where are you guys right now?
Go on, Matt.
I thought it froze. I was
I'm in Kent.
You're in Kent.
Yeah,
in Yorkshire. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Three
my
internet
in this front room, because it keeps switching between two all the time. So whenever it switches, my screen freezes. It's a pain in the ass, but I've got to live with it. I don't know how to stop it. If any tech experts are watching and you know how to stop it, let me know, please.
Let Dan know. Yeah. But even with this, we've been able to do this, and I think that a positive thing to come from this is we have now learned that we can do remote castings. So if there aren't studios available, or you're a London-based casting team and you want to see people from up north, but you can't get up there, or vice versa, you can do these things online, and it is totally possible to see people. So I think it will change. I think we'll see a lot more Zoom auditions. And you know what? I know they're not ideal in some, in a lot of ways, but in some ways I hope the Zoom thing, or whatever it is that you use, does stick, because often it widens the net. It widens the net on the amount of people that these companies are willing to see.
Yeah.
Does that answer that question? Does that answer that?
I think so. Yeah.
I suddenly sort of knew what the question was about, but I was like, what exactly was asked? Yeah. I think I answered it.
Right, so there's another question here, and it relates to something we were talking about earlier. And this individual, anonymous individual, asks, we know actors, singers, performers that are represented by bigger agencies, but over the last year and a half, they haven't had any contact with them at all. Have you got any reason why this has happened?
Not you specifically, Tom. You've been quite vocal.
That'd be very, very
Is it maybe
cool.
well, maybe just lack of castings, and then
Or
they're
could it be
dissociating themselves with their
I mean,
actors?
I think there has been a lack of castings, definitely. You know, whether you're the biggest agency or smallest agency in the world, and I don't consider myself the smallest agency in the world, but I don't consider myself like global talent. Do you know what I mean? Or global artist, should I say? Sorry. But for me personally, I can't fathom it. It makes no sense to me because it doesn't cost anything to send an email. And that's all, you know, I know, and I can quite confidently say here, I have gone above and beyond for my clients during this pandemic. I've really tried, you know, because that's really, really important. Yeah, he's like, really? Really? But I've really tried to go above and beyond. And that's, you know, that works for me and it works for my client base. But it doesn't. I could have done the bare minimum, which is just sort of send an email at the beginning of the pandemic and gone, "Oh, hi guys, things are going to get really crap. Talk to you next year."
Yeah.
I could have done that.
Thing is, though, some people didn't even receive that. Like
that to me is inexcusable.
Like I know a few people who are with big agencies. Like I'm talking like top of the line. And they've not heard a squeak.
Sausage.
They've not heard a squeak in 14, 15 months. Not even sorry, it's a pandemic. And apparently it's due, and I don't know how much true it is. You might know, Tom. But something about the furlough. A lot of like the ones where they're actually employed, not self-employed, they're getting put on this furlough scheme. And because of that, they're not actually legally allowed to get in touch with them.
There is a legality thing. There is a legality thing with the furlough, and you know, it's just me at my agency. So I've got no one to furlough. So
surely morality comes into play there as well, though.
Totally. Or if these, you know, say you've got the top dog at the agency there, and there's 3 different agents, then 3 agents may be on furlough. But that person up there can email clients and go, this is the situation. To not hear a thing, to me, is inexcusable. I guess that's one of the pros to being on a smaller book, is that you have that personal connection with your agent. I know that when books are bigger, you sometimes can't have that because there's just not enough time. But I just can't fathom that. Personally, I can't fathom that. It takes nothing to just go to send, even if you don't want to send a personalized email, you can send a blanket email to everyone, which sometimes I do. Sometimes I send an email to everyone and go, "Hi guys, da 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 da. You know, if you haven't done these things, please can you da 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 da. Lots of love, Tom."
If it were me personally, if I were in that role as an agent, and I wasn't professionally allowed to send an email, I'd personally send an email and just be like, I am not doing this in a professional context. I'm just telling you what the situation is. I'm sorry this is happening. Yeah, that's it. They've got your number.
An agent has your number. Yeah, an agent has your number because they have to have your number, and if they don't, well, they do. It's just crazy. Of course they do. So there's nothing to send a text and go, "Look, if you need me, I'm here," because I'm sat at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
So to me, you know, I'm not sort of damning any agents or anything, but to me, it's inexcusable because I couldn't imagine running Thomas Andrew Management like that. I just couldn't.
Yeah, for me, the way the question is worded, it's either they're not on a personal level with their clients, and they surely are just an employee in a way.
Yeah.
And then if that is the case, and that was the agreement, then fair enough. But if you do want, I feel like you want some rapport with an agent. You want to be able to communicate.
Thing is, though, if you even if you haven't got that personal level, like you just said, as a professional, you should duty do your job to say, "Oh, this is happening." Like, even though you know it's happening because you're reading the news, this is what's happening from that standpoint. On a professional standpoint, you don't see what's going on in the industry behind the performer. I'm letting you know there's going to be jack all, and you're not going to hear from me for a while. And that's all it needed. It's all it needed.
Totally. it's yeah. I mean, as for me, I don't have anyone on my books that I don't feel like I have a relationship with. For me, I need to know I can pick up the phone and be like, Dan, how are you? So, blah 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 blah. You know, yeah. And I need people to be like, hi, you alright? I don't need. Oh yeah, it's just hard to inexcusable.
Usually the phone call between me and Tom goes, Dan, I've got a self-tape casting for you. Can you get it to me by 4:00? Yeah. What is it? I'll send you it over. Hey. Bye.
Yeah, totally. Exactly that. Yeah. So inexcusable.
Fantastic. No bullshit. No bullshit. Straight to the point.
There's no bullshit. It's never. We have drinks. We've met and we've been for coffee and stuff. But yeah.
Right.
To me, inexcusable. Next question. Go on.
Dan, I think we've got time for one, maybe two more quick ones if you want to pick from the rest of the list.
Bloody hell, we have quite a lot.
How long do these episodes have to be? Do you have to keep them within a certain amount of time?
Within an hour is ideal.
Oh my God.
We can overrun a little bit.
Oh my God, we're at 57 minutes.
See, time flies when you're on the As It Is podcast.
Right, go on, quick fire them to me. Go on.
This is a heavy one.
Yeah.
What do you or the general agency community feel about casting types? Example, only a gay man can play a gay man, but a gay man can play a straight man, or a black man can play a white man, but a white man can't play a black man.
Ooh, that's loaded, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's two separate questions in there. I mean, a black person can't play a white person, a white person can't play a black person. End of. Do you know what I mean? End of. Because you can't change what you look like. The sexuality thing is a bit more kind of, I mean, there's so many different schools of thought on it. Listen, I will tell you something now, which is ridiculous. In this industry, there is a hell of a lot of homophobia in this industry, which is ridiculous because this industry is built on gay people.
It was only recently someone got convicted when they came out against, was it The Colour Purple?
Yes.
And the casting around that?
Brion something, I can't remember her name.
Not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But that's a high profile case.
Yeah, example. Totally. There is, unfortunately, I think, again, personally, my opinion, some homophobia within this industry. And that is that a gay person cannot play a straight role. Often gay people will not be seen, or they'll be seen, they go, oh, they're too gay for that. Well, they can act, they can dull that down. So then you go, well, then why should it work the other way? I could sit here and have another hour discussion about it. But if someone is right for the role, then they play it, regardless of race, sexuality, gender, but they have to be right. Don't give someone a job just because you think you're doing the right thing. Yeah, and it ticks a box. Yeah, and you think you're doing the right thing.
I 100% get that in terms of sexuality and things. Anyone can play anyone. Sorry, they can. But in terms of historical correctness, for example, Six the musical. Yeah. All of them women historically white females. But is it right in terms of history that they are casting black or Asian people in them roles?
Yeah, totally. For me, on that with Six is because whilst it's based on history, it's taken so far away from the history. I mean, for fuck's sakes, we've got Mary. Can I swear? Whoops. We've got we can beat that out. You've got Marie Antoinette with a microphone, not Mary Antoinette, you've got Mary, you've got all the wives of Henry, whatever it is, with a microphone in a pop concert. Therefore, it's well, do you know what? They can be whoever they want to be there. If you're going really, 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 really historical, then again, I don't know what the right and wrong answer is, but there is then definitely a debate to be had.
There was that big uproar when a black guy for the role of Jean Valjean in Broadway a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
Yeah, the put a black guy as the lead role of Jean Valjean, there were really big uproar on people saying that's historically incorrect. And
Right,
then
okay.
obviously Lin-Manuel just brought out Hamilton and put loads of Latino
Yeah.
as the cast of like the founding
Yeah.
fathers. So
Yeah, and it's funny, and again, and they're amazing. I mean, they're great. So if someone can do the job right and do it really well, zero problem with it. Zero problem with it. But as long as they're really good at their job.
yeah.
Does that kind of answer that? Yeah.
As much as we can, I
Yeah,
guess.
totally.
It is a tricky question, isn't it? Really.
Without
tricky
going
question.
down another route of another hour long. Yeah.
Exactly, that's it. Exactly. You could talk for it for hours and hours and hours. Yeah.
Do you think we should end on the last two questions in the list, Mark? Quite
Amazing. Yep. We'll shoot off these two quick ones.
Go on then.
What are the key things an agent looks for in a performer?
Talent. No, of course, you're looking for someone to be talented, but actually sometimes the personality and that I want to work with you outweighs the talent.
Or a very unique look.
Yeah, or totally a unique look.
Is that why you picked me?
Yeah, you're so unique, darling. You're so unique.
Thank you.
Thank you. For me, I have a very small book, so I always want one of everyone. But in a way, that's unrealistic because just as soon as you think, right, I've got one of everyone, someone else comes along who offers something completely different, and you go, oh wow, I've got no one like you. All right, I'm going to have to take you. But personality, I need to know. I can phone that person up and say, hi, this has come in. I need it really, really quickly. Or, sometimes as agents, we have to have really awkward conversations. Sometimes people send tapes in to me to send off to someone, and I go, that is not your best work. Yeah, you weren't very good. Sorry, you weren't on your best game there. I don't know if you had something in your mind or like whatever, but and I need to know that I can have that conversation with someone and that they don't take it really, really personally, and they know that I'm just trying to do the best for them, So it does come down to personality and can I work with you as an agent and client. You do end up speaking to each other quite a lot. Like me and Dan, we speak to each other quite a lot. We speak to each other all the time on different types of platforms, and you do. And if I don't feel like I can sort of constantly talk to someone, that doesn't work for me. So it's just personality, totally personality, and be good at what you do and know what you want to do.
Yeah.
It will end on this last one.
And the last question.
It went so quickly. This has gone so quickly. I don't like it.
We'll have to schedule another hour at some point.
We'll do a part 2.
Part 2, yeah. We'll see if the demand's there. I'm sure it will be.
So the final question of the pod. What advice would you give to someone starting their journey?
Network. Make sure you know the right people, but don't do it in a fake way. Don't go up to someone and be like, hi, I'm really, really interested in you. No, go up to them and just be you. If you're just you and you've got a lovely personality, that will shine through. Network. Preparation. Don't go into the room not knowing what you're doing. Don't go into a situation So again, and I'm relating back to that networking thing, don't go up to that person that oh my God, I really want to introduce myself to that person because they're really important, not knowing something about them. You've got a phone, Google the things that they've done, Google that, so you can potentially quote that in a conversation to them, or like say, oh, you did so-and-so, how was that? Preparation, network. Don't be average. That is my motto. My motto to my agency is don't be average. And that's not just in talent. That's not just don't be average in your singing, your dancing, your acting or whatever. That's don't be an average human being. When you walk into that audition room, have eye contact with every single person. Take time to them and say, hi, how are you?
It's funny you say that because when we had that meeting with James Pearson and there were me and somebody else who'd been to one of the auditions before, and I'm talking like a year prior, even longer, 2 years maybe. And he went, oh, Dan, we've met before, haven't we?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
We met for like 10 minutes.
Exactly. And there may be like 6 projects that you're not right for, but then that 7th one that comes up, you're right for, you've stuck in their brain. It's about coming across their, you know, their table and their lips and stuff that came out really bad.
Coming across their lips.
What happens in Soho
I
stays in
was like,
Soho.
oh my God, I can't, I was like, I'm not going to be able to keep a straight face saying that. But, you know, that might be right. So they go, okay, I'm going to see that person. And it's just, yeah, don't be average in every single way when you're meeting people. Make an impression. I'm not talking about walking in and being like, hi, in their face. You don't have to be like that, but just be
being
a lovely
genuine.
person. Be
Why, have you tried it?
Genuine person.
Yeah. Yeah, be a genuine person and just be lovely. And listen, that's how I've sort of carried on working, just by being a nice person. And once you're a nice person and you get the job done and you're really fun to work with, people pick up the phone and go, we'll ask him to do that. Or if they're looking for someone, they go, Tom, or like whoever it may be. I can only use myself as an example, but like Tom, use Tom, gets the job done. Oh my God, you're going to have such a laugh backstage with him. You know, that don't be average. Oh, can't say it enough. I can't.
Well, on that absolute
Bombshell.
Oh, I don't want to say bombshell, but I want to say enlightenment.
Yeah, well, that's
enlightenment.
Me.
Yeah,
Continuity.
Yeah,
that's me.
beautiful,
That's me.
beautiful. Yeah, that was an absolutely fantastic session with Tom from Thomas Andrew Smith Management. Make sure you're following him on all their socials, which are, Tom?
I don't know. I don't know.
TAS Management.
We're Thomas Andrew Smith Management. It's www.tasm.co.uk, although the website is being done at the moment. But you can follow the socials through them. But yes, thank you for having me.
Set you up for that shameless plug there, and you just
right. I didn't even get to plug my personal ones, but we're not doing that because I hate my personal. So my personal Instagram is tompom69. I tried every other number combination. I tried like my birthday, you know, my mum's birthday, all of that stuff, and nothing worked. So I typed in 69 for, you know, and it came up, and I was like, well, I'm having that then. So yeah, is what it is.
Love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, it's been absolutely fantastic today. It's been awesome having Tom here to give his enlightenment on the industry and let us know all of his inside personal thoughts on everything musical theatre. Remember to like, subscribe and comment on the video, and also we've got some fantastic new stuff coming soon. We've got a new series called As It Is Reacts, where me and Mac react to loads of different kind of shite. It's going to be fantastic. Mac, do you want to read us out?
Amazing. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, guys.